Good evening. So in yesterday's class I actually gave one task. How many of you started with it? Or completed? How many of you completed? Okay, great. So those who have started and not yet completed, any challenges? What's null pointer exception? Okay. Any other problems? Connection problem. Oh. Any other problems? So you also have the same connection problem itself?
No, sir.
Okay. Sorry? Driver problem. So you have completed, right?
Yes.
Then how? Oh, you fixed the problem. Okay. So one thing that you need to take care over here is, whenever we wrote the program in the previous class, if you had observed, for example, let me open Eclipse. So what was the project name? Project 1. If I open project 1, you can see source. Inside source you have main. Inside main you have web app. Inside that you have web INF. Inside that you have lib. Now what is that you need to do is, earlier whenever you were actually installing that particular jar file, you used to create a folder called as lib and you used to put that. Correct or not? But this lib folder, did we create or it's already available? It is already available. So the jar file that you are creating should be available inside this lib. After that, you need to make sure that you actually do that Java build path. You remember that you need to go to properties, Java build path, add jar, you need to do that. And one more thing that you need to do is, in all the JDBC classes when I taught you, I showed you 5 steps. What was the first step in that? Loading the driver. I always told loading the driver will happen automatically, correct or not? That will not happen automatically when it comes to these programs. You need to write one extra line of code. What is that extra line of code if you ask me? You need to come inside the main method, and inside this main method you need to manually load that driver. In the last class of JDBC I have told you how you can manually load the driver. How do you manually load the driver? You need to say class dot for name. So it is compulsory for you to say class dot for name, and after that over here you need to pass the name of the class. What is the name of the class? Where is the driver class present? I showed you in that JDBC program. So where is our JDBC programs? So inside lib, inside reference library MySQL, you can see this driver is actually present inside com.mysql.cj.jdbc. So this driver class is what you need to load. In the last class of JDBC, I told in detail what exactly is that thing. So you have the package com.mysql.cj.jdbc. So inside that driver is present, so you need to mention that particular thing over here. So you need to load com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. So if you write this particular line of code, this will load that particular driver. Is that clear to you? Now this will actually throw an exception, checked exception. What is that checked exception? Sorry? Class not found exception, because there might be a possibility that this class does not exist. So if it does not exist, it will say class not found exception. So you can see in the catch block it says class not found exception. So this is the thing. So if you do not write this line of code, and if you write JDBC program in yesterday's programs, then it will not work for sure. So have you done this? Someone? No. You do this, your problem is solved. Anything else? Just one extra line you need to write. That's all. And whenever you are adding the jar, please add the jar into that lib folder. So do not create your own lib and do it. Please make sure you create it inside this. Is that clear to everyone? Now all these things I will not say step by step. I want every day I shall give you some task. I want you to go and try this thing out. Once you try this particular thing out, you will definitely make mistakes. There will be some challenges that you will face. Now why I am asking you to do these things is because once you go to an IT industry, it's not that some requirement is given by your manager. It's not that you will open TAP Academy's core Java notes and you will get the answer. You will not get the answer, because whatever requirements are given to you is a real time problem. You will not find in any of the textbooks in this world. You need to use the knowledge you got from the textbook and understand the problem statement and connect both of these things. If you are not able to do this, you cannot solve the problem, and that's why they hire you as engineers. If they want directly, ChatGPT is already there. Your imagination is what is required. So please build that particular thing. Now what happens? Whenever you are trying to do this, there will be some problems. Now how will you fix the problem? Yesterday I have shown you one problem. 23 answers were there in the first link. Was any one of those answers correct? No. All the 23 answers were wrong. If you go and ask ChatGPT, it will give you any one of those answers. You regenerate it, it will give another answer. You regenerate it, it will give another answer. That's the thing. That's the difference between an AI platform and a human. But I knew what exactly was the problem. It took me 1 second to fix that problem. So that's what is required. And how do you get this? Only by making mistakes. So I am not going to spoon feed you anything from here onwards, because whatever has to be spoon feeded has already been spoon feeded. You got the questions of programming, got the questions of SQL, got Java. Everything was taught in that manner so that your foundations are strong. Now, when you go to an IT industry, any problem happens, you need to sit and debug the problem. Debugging is one of the most important skill as an engineer. So when you actually open your laptop and start making mistakes, that's where you will start making, that's where you will have to involve your debugging skills. So till now, probably you never debugged well. Now on, you need to focus on your debugging skills. So that's the reason I am giving you the requirement. You need to know how to search in Google and how to debug and resolve the issues. So please start doing the task that is given to you. And if you feel boring to do at your PJs, after your class you can sit over here and do it. There is no restriction. If not this classroom, another classroom we will give. But you can sit over here and do it. But please make sure you do it. Is it clear to everyone? Great then. Let's start with a new requirement then. So the new requirement that I have today is slightly different than yesterday's. Almost same, but small changes is what I have. So let's assume that this is the client. Means this is your, oh sorry, it's not visible. Let's assume that this is your browser. Inside this browser, you need to take two things. One is username. So I'll just make it as name. And the other one is password. Name, one more is password, and after that you need to click on this submit button. So this is the first window that you are going to have. Once you are done with this, if the password is correct, so basically you just have to check whether the password is correct or not. If the password is correct, it should say welcome to the home page or something like that. That home page you can build it later on going ahead. Is that clear to you? So there should be one more page for this particular purpose. So this is another page that you are going to have. So this should say welcome to home page. So first thing that you need to do in this case is what? You need to build this particular HTML. Is that clear to you? So do you need one HTML file or not? Yes, you need one HTML file. Once you click on this submit, where will this request go to? The request goes to server. Inside server there is web container, and within that web container there is web.xml. So web.xml will decide what response has to be given. So that response will be written in some Java file, correct or not? So do I need to modify the code in web.xml or not? Yes, I need to modify a code in web.xml, and along with that, do I need to write one Java file or not? Yes. So what all files I need to create now? One HTML file, one web.xml file, and one Java file. Is that clear to you? Can I directly start writing the code? Are you sure about this? Great. So let's start with this particular thing. So first of all, let me take you to Eclipse. Sorry. So I will show the project whatever we have done yesterday. So inside this particular project, we already had one file called as index.html, but I will not use this particular thing. We will keep it as it is. Rather, we will create a new one. So where should we create? Inside web app or web-inf? Web app. So I will create a new one. So I will create one HTML file. I will name this HTML file as login.html. And I will click on next, I will click on finish. So this is my HTML file. I will just give the title as login. Great. Inside the body tag, should I create a form tag for the thing that I have shown or not? Yes, I need to create a form tag. Which concept is going on in HTML? Oh, great. So I will create a form tag. You asked her to start forms, or she herself started? She herself started. You didn't ask anything. Nice. So form tag. Now within this form tag, what we had one attribute. What was the attribute? Huh? Action. Okay. Today studied means see the Josh. Action. So inside that action, I need to write the URL pattern, correct or not? That URL we will write later, and inside this particular thing, I need to take username and password. So what I will do is I will say username. If you want, you can put a label tag as well. Sorry? Close. Oh, that's gone. Okay, okay. Okay. So username, and after that we need to write one input tag. So I shall write one input tag, and within this particular input tag I need to give an attribute. What are the attributes I need to give? Sorry? The first thing is type. I need to say what type of data. What is it? Huh? Text. Then after that, one more detail that I need is name. So I will say name. And we will use this to fetch this particular input from the user. So name, I will say it as username. Is that clear to you? And after this we will put one break tag. So I am creating a break tag. Similarly, I need to create one more thing. What is that? Password. Password, and after that I shall write input. And within this input tag I need to mention type again. What is the type of password? If you want, you can write text, but if you write text, password will be visible, but there is a type called as password itself in HTML, so you can write password. But whenever the Java gives you this thing, it will always give in a string format. Now what I will do is, I will come to the next line, in the same line I will say name is equal to, you can give any name that you want, I have given it as password. After that we will write a break tag, so I will write it as br. Next, one more submit button we need, so I will say again input, and within this particular input I will say type is equal to submit. Is this much clear to everyone? Let's quickly execute and check if it is creating anything like this or not. Is that clear to you? So, first of all, I need to go to the server. I need to start this particular server. So, I am starting it. So, without any issues, the server has started. Now, all we need to do is go to our Chrome. So, over here, I shall start by saying localhost 9090 slash project 1. But if I say project 1, by default it's showing some other thing. This is yesterday's one, correct or not? Great. Now, what is that I need to do is, within project 1, what is the name of that HTML file? Login. So, I will say login.html. Is that clear to you? If I say this, I will get that. Is it clear to everyone? Now, let us give the username and password. So, I will type the username over here. I will say Bob, and password I will type something. I have given a password. Is that clear to you? So, this page is working fine, but if I click submit, will it work fine or not? No, you can clearly see it is not working fine. Is that clear to you? So, what is that I need to do? First of all, in action, I have not written anything. Correct or not? So, in action, I will simply write call login. This is my URL pattern. So, I have written this particular thing. If I write this inside web.xml, should I do the changes or not? Yes. So, let us go to web.xml and let us start doing the changes. So, let me close all these unnecessary files. So, login.html we have written. Now, web.xml is one more file. So, let us start writing the code inside web.xml. Yesterday we wrote this particular thing, servlet tag as well as servlet mapping. Within servlet we need servlet name, servlet class, within servlet mapping we again need servlet name, and one more is URL path. So, let us start by writing from scratch. All those who have not revised, let them revise quickly. So, first of all, what we need is the servlet tag. So, I will just say servlet. Next, one more tag that we need is, yes, servlet mapping. Great. Within servlet mapping, the first thing that we need is what? URL pattern. Do we have the URL pattern or not? Yes. Where can I find the URL pattern? Inside my login, you can clearly see call login, that is your URL pattern. Copy this particular thing, come to web.xml, paste it. One more thing that we need to give over here is what? Sorry? Servlet name. So, I need to give this servlet name. Servlet name, you can give any name that you want. Is that clear to you? So, I will say call program 2. I will write it as call program 2. Any doubts in this? No. Now, after that what you need to do is, whatever you have written over your servlet name, same servlet name has to exist inside the servlet as well. So, I have put the same servlet name over here. So, this is how it will map. So, HTML file will find this URL pattern, this URL pattern will find the servlet name, this servlet name will find this servlet name. Now, are they matching? Yes. Then it will see what? One more tag. What is the other tag? Servlet class. So, it will see one more tag, that is servlet class. So, I will create servlet class. Have we created any servlet class as of now? No, we have not created any, we have not seen any kind of servlet class. So, what is that I need to do is, I need to create one class for this. So, don't you think I need to create one Java file for this? Where do we create the Java file? Inside this particular source main Java, I need to create the Java file. So, what I will do is, I will go inside this particular source main Java, and inside this particular thing we have already one Java file as program 1. We do not want to do anything to this file, rather we need to create a new file. So, I will say new and I will create one class. So, I will say class, I will click on next and I will name it as program 2. and I'll just click on finish. So you don't have to create any kind of main method inside this. But one thing that you need to do is, if you want to, this is a normal Java class. You want to make it as a servlet. If you want to make it as a servlet, you need to extend one class, or you need to inherit from a class. Which class is that? Sorry? HTTP? Servlet. So I need to say extends HTTP servlet. Is this clear to everyone? Once you do this, you also need to override one method. What is the method you need to override? Sorry? Service method. So what I will do is, I will override the service method. The service method will accept two parameters. What are those? HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. So you need to create that particular thing as well. And this will throw an exception as well. What is the exception it's throwing? Sorry? Servlet exception. That's all? It will also throw IO exception. Okay. Oh, you saw it on top? IO exception? Oh, okay. Fine. I thought it was not visible here, but some were very smart to see on top as well. So anyways, inside this particular thing, I need to take the details, correct or not? Yes. So how do I take the details over here? If you ask me, you can simply say, how do I take the details? I will get it into objects. Whatever details that I get, means whatever the client sends to the server, where will that be available? Request. Whatever server sends to the client, where will that be available? In the response. So now I need to make use of the request object to get the data whatever they have sent. How many data has been sent? Two data. One is username and the other one is password. Now how do I get those data? If you ask, you need to say request dot get parameter. So I'll say request dot get parameter. Over here I need to give the parameter. Now where will I get this particular parameter name? If you ask, you need to go and search that in the HTML file. So what I will do is, I will go to the HTML file over here. In the HTML file, what is the parameter name? Username. So whatever is given inside the name attribute, that is what is your parameter. Is that clear to you? So this name is what I need to take. So this is that particular username. I will copy this particular username. I'll go over here. I will paste it. Is that clear to you? This will give you a string value. I'll store it inside a variable called as username itself. I mean, you can give different names, but I am just maintaining a standard over here. But you need to understand, this username is something else, this username is something else. This is a Java variable. This is a variable name or the attribute name given in the HTML file. Is that clear to you? Similarly, I need one more. What is that? Password. So I need to say request dot get parameter, and over here the parameter name has to be password. So where do I find it? I need to go over here, and over here I have told password. This password is different. This password is different. Can I change this type? No. If I change this type, what I can do? I can change to email or text or password or number. But if I change that, then its appearance also will change. Means rather than dot 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 dot, you will get email or text or whatever. But can I change this name? Yes. This is totally dependent on me. If I want, I can write Shah Rukh Khan over here. There is no problem. Is that clear to you? So, but if I write Shah Rukh Khan over here, even in my Java program, don't you think I need to write Shah Rukh Khan? Yes. That is the difference. Is that clear to you? So I will just copy this particular thing, and over here I will just paste it. And this I shall store it inside a variable called as password. Do you want me to give different names to avoid confusion, or this is fine? Are you sure? Okay, because 4 places I have written password and all those are different. Is that clear to you? Great. Now if you want, you can print. What I will say is, I will say hello, welcome to open page. What is that? Welcome page. Welcome page or home page? Home page. So I need to say system.out.println. Inside this, what is that I need to say? hello, and after that you need to concatenate the username. Where will you get the username? Username. Sorry? This is a mistake, okay. But whatever text I am writing, we will finish that and we will rectify the mistake. Is that fine? Okay. So, I will say hello username, and after that plus, and what is that I need to say? Welcome to home page. Is this clear to everyone? Great. But if I do like this, will it print in the console or will it print in the web page? It prints in the console. If I don't want to print in the console and print in the web page, what is the thing I need to do? I need to create one object of print writer. So how do I create an object of print writer? Is with the help of response. Is that clear to you? So I need to come back over here. I need to say response dot what? Get writer. Okay. And this will give you one writer object of type print writer. I will name it as out. Is this clear to everyone? Yes. Now what I will do is, rather than saying system.out.println, I will simply say out.println. Now when I am saying out, which out is it referring to? This is referring to this out. It is not referring to system.out. Is that clear to you? So this is it. Any doubts still here? Any doubts? Are you sure? Great. Sorry? Password also you want to print. Hello, welcome to home page. This is your password. We will change. Later on, going ahead, I will change the requirement. Don't worry. How I will change the requirement is, I will check whether he has given the right password or not. If he has given the right password, only then we will do it. Otherwise, we will not do it. Is that fine for you? We will do all that. That you do. That's what I am saying. If else condition have I taught or not? Yes. Long back you studied if else. Calling different methods have I taught or not? Yes. Calling methods is also taught. So if the condition is true, call one method. If condition is false, call another method. Do that. That is up to you, your imagination. I am just teaching you how to connect HTML and Java. My job is over. Your imagination, how you do, according to that you write the requirement, that's all. Is it clear to you? Your imagination also, if I have to do, then I will only live your life. But I don't want to live your life. Oh, by the way, the person with the hat, please keep the phone inside. Oh, no hat, okay. Keep the phone inside. So anyways, they think, some people think if I hide behind the person like this, nobody can see. Some of them think if I just, I will look like this. Did you see the difference or not? Same difference I can also see. Even if you are looking at someone else like this also I can see. So be careful, look over here. Don't look at someone else in the class. I see some of them. Please. So anyways, let's continue from here. Oh, what is that we need to do? Execute this and check. So, restart, we'll do. Slash. Okay. So I need to go to the HTML file and make sure that I give a slash over here. Not this slash. This slash. Then? Oh, in web.xml file we need to give a slash? Okay. Go to web.xml and we will give a slash. This one? Huh? Oh, class name also should be given. Good. So what is the class name? com.tap.program2. I will copy paste because I know I will make mistake if I type. So always what should you do? Good. So yeah, I'm not joking. Seriously, you need to copy paste. Means not go to internet, copy the code and paste. That not that copy paste. File names and all these things you need to copy paste. So that there is no typing mistakes. It is famously called as typos in software industry. So typos should not be there. Is that clear to you? Anyways, let's get back. I will restart this. So server has started. Let's go to this, and over here we will say localhost 9090, and after that project 1 / login.html. Correct or not? Yes. So username I will say Alex, and password I will say something. Hello Alex, welcome to home page. Is this clear to everyone? Yes. Let's go back. I will refresh this. Anyone wants to give your username and password? Anyone? Anyone? First bench? Nobody? Nobody wants to give one password. Is that system on earth? Just give any username and password. Easy, give easy password. I will show some magic now. Username also, only password if you give. Don't put @ hash and all. If you have put that, delete it. See? Okay. You can submit it. Your password is STUVI123. See, I did a magic. Tomorrow with one magician's hat I will come. What happened? Magic happened. But how exactly magic happened is, you can see the password is visible over here, correct or not? Yes. So, whenever you actually click on submit, it will give you the URL pattern. You can see localhost 9090 project 1, that is your project. After that, call program, what is this? Call login. Call login, what was call login? You remember what was the URL pattern? Call login, correct or not? That is what is call login. After that you have a question mark. Then what all did we give as input? One is username and the other one is password. So username equal to, and you have the username, and password equal to, and you have the password. So whatever username and password she entered, you can see that username and password. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Why it is a bad thing? Because whatever sensitive data you have, it is completely exposed over here, correct or not? So whoever is a smart person, he will go and see the URL, he will get all the details. Is that clear to you? Now this has to be restricted. Now the question is, how do we restrict this? How? By? Method what? Yes, no encryption and all. So what is that you need to do is, have you learnt in HTML regarding this? Yes. So whenever it comes to the Java classes that we have seen as of now, we have created one servlet. Inside that particular servlet, what was the method that was present over there? Which method did we override? Service method. It is suggested that you are not supposed to override service method. Rather, there are different types of service method. So popularly there are two types of service method. There are other service method as well. What are the two popular service method if you ask me? One is the get method and the other one is the post method. Maybe in HTML class you would have studied. I am not sure if you have studied, or even if you have studied, you have no clue why you have studied it. So now we will understand why you studied it. Is that clear to you? So whenever it comes to methods, there are two types of methods. One is the get method, and the other one is the post method. Is that clear to you? Now, when do we use get method if you ask me? Whenever there is small amount of data, you make use of get method. When do you use post method? When there is huge amount of data, you make use of post method. Because whenever it comes to get method, there is a limit for the inputs that you give. As of now, you gave only username and password. Now let's assume that you are giving some, you are uploading some CSV file. In that CSV file, let's assume there is some 5,000 people's data. That you cannot do in the get method, because get method has a limit. But when it comes to post method, it doesn't have a limit. You want to upload details of 5,000 people, you can. You want to upload details of 5 billion people, you still can. So if you have a huge amount of data, you always make use of post method. Means if you are uploading that. Uploading means what? You are sending it to the server. Is that clear to you? And at the same time, if you have sensitive data, you are not supposed to make use of get method. You are supposed to make use of post method. So by default, whenever you create any form, it will always call the get method. And by default, it will consider it as a get method and not the post method. Now, how do you prevent all of these things if you ask me? You need to do one small change inside your HTML. What is that change? We will see now. So what is that you shall do is, you shall go to your HTML. So I will just take you to your HTML. Inside this HTML, inside the form tag, you have written action. This is one attribute which is there for the form. One more attribute is there for this called as method. So you need to mention that particular method. So I will say method. Method equal to, by default the method will be equal to get. If the method is equal to get, then automatically in the URL the data will be exposed. Means you can see the username, password, whatever data you give, it will be there in the URL. Say me, do you want the URL to be seen or you don't want the URL to be seen? You don't want the URL to be seen. So what I shall do over here is, first of all I will save this, I will restart the server and I will show it to you. I will say restart. I will go to our page. I will click on submit. Is the details visible to you over there in the URL or not? Yes. You can clearly see username equal to Alex, password equal to Alex123. Is that clear to you? If you do not want this, you should not make use of the get method. Then what method should you write over here if you ask me? You need to write post. Is that clear to you? So now what I shall do is, let's try to refresh and try. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then we will restart. Is that clear to you? So I will give Bob, and over here I will say, and I will click on submit. Do you see what password I gave? No, that's hidden now. How is it hidden? Just because I changed the method from get to post. Is it clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? No. So I hope everyone understood when should you make use of get method, when should you make use of post method. So whenever you make use of get method, all the input given from the form, will it be visible in the URL or not? Yes. So the first difference between get and post is, in case of get, all the input given from the form is visible in the URL. Means it's exposed in the URL. And when it comes to post, it is not exposed in the URL. Is that clear to you? So all the sensitive data should not be given in the get method, but when it comes to, if there is no sensitive data, then we can make use of post method. And again, when it comes to get method has a limit. It has certain KB of data it can take. Means all text data will be in KBs itself. So it has a certain limit of data, But when it comes to post, there is no limit. So if you have a lot of data, you make use of post. If there is only less data, you make it of get. Is it clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? So this is one among the important questions, the different types of methods. Is that clear to you? So please make sure you know both of these methods and the differences between both of these as well. So these questions can be asked even, whatever I am teaching now onwards. Everything can be asked even if you have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years experience as well, provided you are still working on Java. Is it clear to you? There is one more thing that we need to do over here. What is one more thing that we need to do is, if I go to our program, over here which method are we overriding? Service method. It is always suggested to not override service method. Then what should we override if you ask me? Actually, when it comes to methods, there are different types of methods. So under this particular service itself, there are two types of methods. So I will show you what are the two types of methods. So let me just there is one method called as doGet. This method will also accept request object as well as response object. Similarly, there is one more method called as doPost. This will also accept request object as well as response object. Is that clear to you? Similarly, there is one more method called as service. This will also accept request object as well as response object. Is this clear to everyone? Now, all of these methods are present inside the HTTP servlet class. If all these methods are present inside HTTP servlet class, is it present inside the child classes or not? Yes, it is present inside the child classes. Now what happens is, first of all, whenever a HTML call is done, means whenever the URL pattern is seen, it will actually look for the class, because inside the URL pattern, did we give the method name or did we give the class name? Class name. Inside that class, it will not look for main method. Rather, for which method does it look for? Which method did you override? Service method. So it will look for service method inside that class. So you wrote program 2. So inside program 2, it will look whether there is a service method. Was there a service method or not? Yes, there was a service method. So it will execute the service method. Is that clear to you? Now let's assume the service method does not exist in your class. Then what do you think will happen? Simple core Java question I am asking. If service method does not exist in the class you have written, what will happen? Sorry? If it is not there, same, is that method overridden in your class or not? You did not override that? No, as of now, did you override this or not? If you have overridden, you means you have inherited and then you have overridden, correct or not? Yes, from which class have you inherited? HTTP servlet class. So, if you do not write the service method, is it inherited or not inherited? It is not inherited. If you have written extends HTTP servlet, by default is it inherited or not? Yes, this is inherited. But have you overridden? No. So if you have inherited, what code will be there inside the service method? Whatever was there in the parent class, that code is what will be there. Correct or not? Now inside parent class, what is the code that is present if you ask me? Inside the parent class service method, there is one if-else condition. What is the if-else condition if you ask? Inside the parent class, the if condition is like this. If, it will check whether method is that equal to get. If it is equal to get, then it will call a certain method. Else, again it will check if method is equal to post. If the method is equal to post, then it will call another method. So if the method is equal to get, which method will it call if you ask me? It will call do get method. Oh, that's not visible. It will call do get method. If it is equal to post, then it will call do post method. This is the code written in the parent class service method. Is that clear to you? So what exactly happens is, whenever you execute any program, web.xml will actually call your class because you have given the class name. Inside that class, it will come and execute which method? Service method. If you have not overridden the service method, don't you think this code will execute? Because this code is inherited or not? Yes, it's inherited, so this code will execute. In that it will check whether method is equal to get. If method is equal to get, it will call do get method. If method is equal to post, it will call do post method. So you are not supposed to override the service method. What should you override if you ask me? You need to override either the do get method or the do post method. So whenever it calls do get method, your do get method will execute. Whenever it calls a do post method, it will execute. Is that clear to you? So if I go to my class and even if I remove the service method and if I override with do get or do post, should it execute or not? Yes, it should execute, because internally what is happening? It will execute the parent class service method, and the service method, what is it doing? It's either calling do get or it's calling do post. Is that clear to you? But one more thing you need to keep in mind. If the service method calls do get, you should have overridden do get method. If service method calls do post, you should have overridden do post method. Is that clear to you? Or if you can override both the methods, according to the method mentioned in the HTML file, it will call. Are you getting the point? Yes. So can we go and try this thing out? Yes. So what I shall do is, I will take you to our class. So this is the class. Have I removed the service method or not? Yes. I will just put that back. So I will just cut this one code. Because anyways you will be reusing the same code, I will cut this. What I will do is, I will delete this. Which method should we override? Do get and do post. So first I will do override do get method. So this is the do get method, and inside this, if you observe the parameters, is the parameter same or not? HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. Let's stop the server. It is either HTTP servlet request and servlet response. And after that, exceptions also it is the same. Is that clear to you? What I am going to do is, I am going to actually write the code that I had written earlier inside the service method. What is that? Fetching username, fetching password, and after that I am just saying hello username, welcome to the page. Can we start the server and start or not? Yes. So what I will do is, I will start the server over here. After this, let's go back over here, let's refresh this, and over here I shall say Alex and I will give some password and I will click on submit. You are getting a problem. What is the problem if you ask me? This is an expected problem. Why? Let's try to understand step by step. So first what happens is, this page is visible. I have given some password. As soon as I click on submit, what will it do? It will go and check the URL pattern, correct or not? So let's go to our URL pattern. So first what happens is, first of all, it goes inside login.html. Inside that, what is there? Call login, that is the action. And after that, method is what? Post. Remember this, method is post. Call login means it will go inside web.xml. So inside this web.xml, there are two servlet mapping. One servlet mapping says call program 1. Is it matching or not matching? Not matching. Then one more is call login. Is it matching or not matching? Matching. Because in HTML also it was call login, over here also it is call login. Call login means it will see call program 2 in the servlet name. Servlet name call program2. Means what is there? com.tab.program. Now what happens is, it will go inside this class. After going inside this class, which method will it execute? Which method? It will go and execute the service method. Is that clear to you? So what happens is, it will go inside this program too. Are you able to see any service method inside this? If there is no service method, does it mean it does not exist at all? No. You have inherited the service method from HTTP servlet, correct or not? Yes. So if you actually go inside HTTP servlet class, there will be a service method, but I am so sorry I cannot see the source, show the source code of that particular thing. But how will be that service method? If you ask, the service method is going to be the way I shown. So over here, you don't have a service method, but it will definitely call service method itself, which is inherited from HTTP server. And how will that exist if you ask me? It will exist like this. It will check like this. Inside the service method, you will have request, you will have response. It will come and check, is the method equal to get? Same in HTML, method, was it equal to get or was it equal to post? Post. So condition true or false? False means comes over here. It will check whether method is equal to post. Condition true or not? True means it will call do post method. Is that clear to you? And it will pass the same request what it got and the same response what it got. Same do post method, have you overridden or not overridden? You have not overridden. That's why it is saying do post is not available. Is that clear to you? So if I again take you to the Chrome, it will clearly say you the error that the post is not available over here. HTTP method post is not supported by this URL. Is that clear to you? So this is the problem. Why are you getting this problem? Because you have not overridden do post. So what is that I need to do now is, I need to go over here and I need to override the do post method. How do I override the do post method? Exactly same like this. Instead of saying do get, what should I say? Do post. Just to make sure there are some changes, what I will do is, rather than saying hello, I will say hi and welcome to my home page, and in brackets I will say post. Is that clear to you? Is this clear to everyone? Great. Now, I hope it will work. Is it working or not? I mean, server has updated, that's why no problem, or else we had to go and restart. So is it working or not? Yes. Now what happens is, if I go back to my HTML code, over here method I will change from post to get. If I change it to get, if I come back over here and if I refresh it, I will say Bob and I will give this password. Output same one or different one? Different one, because which one did it call? Get. Is that clear to you? So you can clearly see that I am not doing any changes in the back end. I am only doing changes in the front end. But is it reflecting in the back end or not? Yes. Why? Because internally service method is calling either do get or it is calling do post. Is that clear to you? So if you override service method, how many options you have? Only one option. But if you do not override service method, how many options you have? Two options. So you have both do get as well as do post. Is it clear to you? Now apart from get and post, there are other methods as well. So those methods are not that important as a fresher, but even as experience also it's not important. But if you still want to learn those methods, you can research those methods and learn it. So there is do head, do delete and all of those things. But post and get are important methods. So please make sure you know the differences between them and you know how they work and when to use those things. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts in this? Any doubts? No. So again, if you see, we did not learn something very new over here. I mean, small changes is what we learnt over here. Now, when it comes to advanced Java, this is how it's going to be. There is not going to be a huge change. There are small changes going to be. Is that clear to you? As I mentioned, you need to set your imaginations right, and you need to start making sure that you have, you actually build something great. As of now, I have told, hello Bob, welcome to home page. Is it necessary your home page should be like this? No. In HTML class, it's already taught to you how to build a website and all those things, correct or not? Now, whatever website is built, make sure over here dynamically the time is coming. Is it taught to you how time will come? Yes or no? Yes, no? No. Then learn, because in back end, you can know this. How will you learn? Simply go and Google. Along with that, username. Can you give one username over here now or not? Yes. If you click on login, is he giving the username? Yes. Same username you put over here. Problem solved. So, for every person now who comes to that website, are they getting the same name on the right corner or different names? Different names. That became a dynamic page. Like this, you need to start improvising this page. I will not improvise. I will not teach HTML once again, which is already taught to you. It is already taught. You connect both of them together now. I have already connected. You just use whatever is taught to you. Is that clear to you? Any doubts still here? No. So we'll start with a new topic from tomorrow onwards. So if you have any doubts, if you're facing any problem, please get your problem. But I hope before you get to me, you have done your research and you are coming to me. Is that clear to you? If anyone has completed the complete task that I gave yesterday, please come and show. Tomorrow, get your laptops. Is it clear to you? Great.